So is now the time to jump into the deep end of the pool and get going on your next online course. I've got some questions for you to answer today to see if it's the right time for you. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the Course Creators HQ podcast, helping you navigate the latest techniques for creating and marketing online courses. And now, here is your host, Julie Hood.
So I've got some really fun questions for you to think about and ponder over this week as we talk about whether or not it's the right time to create your online course, and honestly, really to make any kind of shift in your business. You can use very similar questions as you're thinking about your next projects and what to focus on. So hopefully this will be helpful for you, not only today, but long term when you're thinking about what should I be working on next. But before I get started, I wanted to make sure I told you about the topic and title challenge that's starting on May 23rd, 2022. If you're listening to the replay of this episode. And I only do this a couple times a year. You get a whole week of free coaching with me. And even if you only have 15 minutes or so to spend on working on your first or your next online course, we're going to talk about your topic, talk about your title, and really help you focus in on getting that course going and get some momentum on this new project. So I'd love for you to join me. The links at the very top in the show notes, or you can also go to topicandtitlechallenge.com, get signed up. Please jump in. I'm excited about it. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year because I get to meet and work with so many amazing people, and you get a chance to see if you like the way I teach, you like what I talk about, and we can go from there. So we'd love to have you come join me. Okay, so should you be working on an online course or another project in the near future? What are some of the questions that you should consider and ask yourself, like, okay, is this the right time? And the first one I want to throw out for you is pretty straightforward, and that's, are you excited about it? You know, you want to have some of that initial excitement about a new project because that will help carry you through the middle when it gets a little tougher and you can't quite see the end yet, and that excitement energy can help carry you forward. So that's the first question. The second question is, where are you at in your business right now? Because there are sometimes where it can be a really good upgrade to what you're doing. And I'll give you an example here. If, let's say right now you've got a one-on-one service, or you're doing just one-on-one coaching, but you've kind of hit that limit to where you can only get so much revenue because there's only so much time in the day. Adding an online course could be a really great way to expand your business and help more people, because you can use that as the centerpiece of people getting to work with you. And then the other things become the extras, become the higher target pricing, the ways you add on. But having this online course can be another revenue stream. It can also be something that you use for the people who say to you, oh, I can't afford you right now, so that you can get some kind of monetization from them and another way to actually help them move forward. The other thing I like to tell my coaches is use your online courses so that you are actually a better coach. And what I mean by that is that you have them do the training and the lessons and the teaching part through your online course. And then when they get online with you, when they get on the phone with you, you can dig in so much deeper on those coaching calls. You can get into what their issues are, where they're stuck, what their obstacles are, and do that instead of the actual teaching as part of your one-on-one work with someone. So it's a great way to expand your services and really be a better coach, because they get not only the teaching, then they get your help to make sure they're moving forward. It's also a really fantastic way if someone is on the fence, if you can say, oh, and by the way, I'll give you access to all of these courses that I have. I'll give you access to my group coaching sessions, and you get that as a free bonus. So I've used that several times. Works really well with my VIP day clients, because they want to work with me directly for the VIP day. And then I say, oh, and hey, by the way, you can also have access to all of my templates. You can have access to my courses on doing your sales page, on doing your email newsletter, on getting joint ventures. And you can come to my group coaching sessions for the next few months. And so they're not only getting the VIP day with me, they're getting all this extra ongoing work. So it can really help when someone's on the fence. And then one of the last things is I use it all the time as bonuses when I'm putting together offers. So we're not just selling just our course. We're selling the whole offer that you're putting together. And so you can use, as you're getting more courses together, you can make those the extra bonuses, some of these ongoing kind of bonuses that you put into your online course. And I'll talk about this, that I usually only share this with my clients, but I think this could be really helpful as you're thinking about this and whether to create these online courses. So when you do a payment plan for something that people are doing with you, I really like to match the time period of the payment plan to the time that they are receiving coaching and training from you. And so the way I've worked this out, when I've got folks in my 24-hour course creator, that lasts about 2 months. But if I've set them up with a 6-month payment plan, then they'd have to be paying for 4 months where we're not actually getting to work together. So what I've done is taken these bonus workshops that I do and bonus courses, and I've done one of those each month so that we get to stay connected. I get to keep working with them. They get ongoing advice and suggestions from me. And the bonus courses then are part of the entire offer. When you jump into 24-hour course creator, you don't just get that. You get these extra bonus courses to help you with the marketing side of things too. So that's been a really effective way to use my courses to expand the business out. Okay, and then the next question for you is, how much time do you have right now? And this was really, really important to me as my kids were growing up. And I noticed how different times of the year I would have way more time to work on my own projects than other times of the year. And so I used to, before they were born, you kind of have this time map of this is how my day runs, this is how much free time I have. But what I found as they were growing and doing more activities and doing more things, I would have to change my time map as their schedules and their activities changed. Or they changed schools because of the way our school worked. The elementary school was later in the day, then the middle school was an hour earlier than that, and the high school was super early. So what ended up happening is, as they would hit different school times, I would have to be getting up at different times and getting them out the door and getting their lunch made. So my whole day would shift depending on which school they were at. And then, we'd throw in volleyball season and they'd have practice and I'd have to be picking them up at a certain time or going to practice or going to tournaments. So my time map shifted significantly as theirs did. And so there were times of the year when I had way more free time than other times of the year. And actually this time right now is actually really good because some of the school things are kind of winding down. We're into that summer sort of, the kids don't have to get up early. They're sleeping in. I can get up and work on things in the morning, as opposed to at the beginning of semesters when there's always so much going on and changing times and lots of stuff. So I think this time of the year, it's May and June right now, is a really good time to be working on your online course because you've got a little bit less in the responsibility side of things so that you've got more time to work on it. The other piece of that is that it does not have to take as much time as you think to create your first online course. We're going to be doing first the topic entitled challenge, which is free to get people going. And then the ongoing piece of that is that we're going to do 24-hour course creator with the goal of having a course done by July the 7th. So if you're interested in both of those, I will put the links in the show notes. So you can not only jump into the challenge and see, like, is this the right time for me? But then also get going on the 24-hour course creator. I'd love to have you come join me. It's a really fun 5 to 6 weeks of coaching, and then we have those ongoing workshops. Then the next question for you is, what is the opportunity cost of doing this project right now and not doing something else? So this came up a lot when I was in accounting and auditing, and businesses would have to think about where they would invest and what they were going to spend their money on. And anytime you would pick a certain project, there would be other projects that could not be done because you were picking that one. It's the same sort of thing here for you. If you're going to do this, what are you not going to have time to do? So just a quick thought about, what are some of my other options, and is this the best one? Now, I love online courses because you're creating assets, and you want to be creating these assets as part of your business. That's things that you create and set up once and have little or not much ongoing work to keep them up and running and creating money and revenue for you. So things like creating your email list, creating courses, all of those are assets that you're building and increasing the value of your business every time. Then the next question is kind of a fun one, and that's, what's your brain saying to you right now? And we just want to listen, because a lot of times our brains just get in the way. So the first one is maybe it's saying something like, ooh, I don't know enough yet. Kind of that whole imposter syndrome sort of thing of thinking you need to be an even better or bigger expert before you create a course. And I've talked about this in the past sometimes, especially in some of my clubhouse rooms. You just need to have gotten results for yourself to get started, or maybe for your clients, some kind of results that you can use. And also you remember what it's like before you had this results, because then all you're pulling together are the steps between I'm in this before state and the after state, and I'm going to give you all the steps in between to get there. So you don't have to be someone who's been doing things for 25 or 30 years to be an effective course creator. In fact, sometimes the folks who have that 30 years of experience are not effective anymore because they're so far from being a beginner that they don't remember what that was like. So you might be a better teacher than them, honestly. Okay. The next thing your brain might be saying is, ooh, I have to create this huge signature program. This is going to be this huge project, and it's a big thing, and I'm just not ready for some big project. And so my thought for you there is, let's get started with a smaller course. Let's just get you going and get something out there, get it so you can offer it and have some revenue coming in. Let's not create that huge signature program first, because not only what could happen is some big program might not actually be what your students want. I'd rather you get started with something smaller that you really know that they are 100% active and interested in getting the solution. And then a lot of times what our brains will tell us is, hey, this isn't safe. Don't do this. This is dangerous. This is that whole caveman stay in the cave concept that our brains come up anytime we try to change things. So once you notice that, like, okay, this is what's happening. Thanks for the advice. And then you can logically determine where you're actually at. But don't use that default response, because our brains are always trying to keep us safe where we are right now, regardless if that's really the best path long term for us. And then a couple other things I've had some of my students say One is, I don't know how to create a course. The easy solution for that is to get some guidance, get some coaching. Or I don't like to create videos is another one that comes up. And that's actually fine. You don't have to do videos. I know a lot of people set it up to where they feel like you have to do videos for your online courses, but you actually don't. I have some courses that don't have video in them. Or the other piece is, instead of creating live headshot kind of videos where you have to have your whole script memorized, which I don't like to do those either, you can also do voiceovers, like voiceover PowerPoints, because the PowerPoints are the triggers for you of what your content is. And I'll throw in one little secret for you. For your PowerPoints, do not, under any circumstances, put all of the text of your content on the screen on the PowerPoints. You want just a single thought per slide, and then you're going to talk to it. You're going to speak to that thought. So almost like a bullet point per slide, and that'll make your presentation so much better. And then the next question is kind of, what's your gut? What's your intuition telling you right now? Sometimes if you can tap into that, you can get some really good advice on what the next move is. And if you're still not sure, you're not quite convinced or not sure what you should do, I want you to take a few steps over the next week and see if you can get some momentum going. So those of you who are listening to this in May of 2022, please come join me for the Topic and Title Challenge. We're starting the week of May 23rd, and I'm actually going to be giving away an entire 5 months of coaching with me as part of the 24-hour course creator. So the people who jump in to the challenge and then do the homework, and the homework's really easy, by the way. When you do the homework, then you'll be entered into a drawing to see if you can win the 24-hour course creator program and get to work with me for the next 5 months. So jump into that and get some momentum going. If you're listening to this replay later on, try to take a few steps. Maybe you're going to just do some brainstorming. Maybe you're going to do a little bit of research and just see if you start building some momentum around the concept of, I really want to have an online course, or whatever project you're working on right now. If you can get that momentum going, it's an incredible way to see if it's the right time. Because if you end up like having to push yourself really, really hard and you're not that excited, your intuition isn't giving you a big thumbs up, then maybe it's not the right time right now, and maybe it's later on. But I'm glad you listened to the end and all the way through this little mini course on some questions about, is now the right time for this project? And I'm looking forward to connecting with you. I really hope you can join us, not only for the Topic and Title Challenge, but for however we can work together in the future. And have an amazing week. I hope you enjoy this next week going forward. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. If you're in Apple Podcasts, it's that 3 dots up at the right and of the screen, and you click follow. They really, really help us get our message out to more and more creators as we get more followers. And one last little request, if you don't mind, if you run into a friend or you run into someone in a Facebook group who's like, I was thinking about doing an online course, if you could point them toward this podcast, I would really, really appreciate it. The Course Creators HQ podcast. And thank you so much. I know you can use your earbud space for lots of different things, and I really appreciate the fact that I get to spend a few minutes with you, hopefully helping you build your business and make it even better. So thanks for listening. Have a terrific week, and we'll talk to you next time.